Hello and welcome, it's Jennifer here at Peacock-Smith, and today we're going to be doing the first of many videos on filling the frame. I have come across a lot of people who do fabulous art, finish it off, go off and have it framed, and it costs an absolute fortune, which is fine if they're happy to pay that, but many of them aren't, and so their art sits lost in a cupboard somewhere instead of beautifully displayed. So I'm a huge fan of either using standard frame sizes so that when your art is finished and you go to frame it, you can just buy a cheap frame at Walmart or Big W or whatever country you live in, or you can recycle frames, you can pick them up anywhere. And so for me, I often start with the frame. I collect frames, I pick them up on sales. And so I have a lot of lovely frames that are waiting to be filled, and so I'm going to show you today a lovely way to display anything that's precious to you. It can be a medal or a button or a keepsake, it can be any shape. Today we're going to use one of my tiles. If you have a look at the Facebook, my author Facebook page, Jennifer Peacock-Smith, you can see that they're there for sale. If you look at the Facebook group Peacock-Smith Art, you will be able to print off this free pattern, which is the exact size and shape of that. And so while we're at it, let's get started. You're going to need your frame, your special inside piece. If you're doing one of these tiles or any other of my tiles, there's a pattern for each of those, so you'll need to print off that. And you will need some nice paper. I'm just going to use this, oh, it's got a bit dirty already. I'm going to use this nice, what's the word, textured paper, nice pretty one. And I've cut it. So the first steps are to open your frame. There we go. So I'm going to need the backing, but I'm not going to need the glass, but I'll set it all aside. And I have already cut my piece of paper. It's a 5" by 7", which is a very standard shape. And I've used a very fine pencil to draw a line around the edge, just that I don't go over that edge, because you're not going to be able to see it where the frame overlaps. So we're going to set that aside. Okay, then what I've done is my tiles that I make, even though each one is is handmade, so they're all very different and individual, they're all basic, they use the same basic underneath mold, and so I printed mine out on cardboard so that you can see it nice and clearly. And so I'm going to use the very finest of my pens, and I am going to center it. You might want to do it with a ruler. I feel a little bit confident, but that's fine. And I am now going to trace. Now I could trace it straight from the tile. The problem with that is it's actually quite hard to get it right in the edges, and I don't want my tile to have the design around it sitting too far out. I actually want the tile to be part of the design instead of just sitting in the middle. So you are very welcome just to trace your little piece in the middle. You could also stick it in the middle first and then just draw your design around it, but the problem I find with that is that it kind of gets in the way. So it's really, went off a bit there. So now I have my basic design where my little embellishment is going to go. So now I'm going to enjoy the process of doing a basic design. So I might fast forward this little bit.